What's going on, everyone? Hope you're doing well. I really wanted to get on here and have a brief but very powerful discussion and really talk about how I would approach trading for the first time now that I have years and years of experience under my belt, and really kind of give you a beginner's guide to setting yourself up for success. Now, this isn't only geared towards beginners, this is really information that everybody ought to understand to the fullest in order to ultimately reach that goal of consistency and profitability. All right, but I kind of want to first step back and think about things from a broader perspective before we kind of get into some concrete action items and steps that you should be taking. And the way I kind of want to start, and this is something that, if you've been following us for quite some time, you know that we harp upon, and I almost feel like I'm beating a dead horse. But it's so important and critical that we come into trading with the proper mindset and the right expectations. Unfortunately, and I don't want to name any names, but there are people in this industry that really do sell a false dream, right? And it's a lot of the network marketing, and it's great because it provides exposure to trading, right? People who otherwise would have never been introduced to it. But at the same time, promoting a false dream and the expectation that you can come into this and make millions of dollars overnight is simply unrealistic, right? And so it's setting people's mindset up immediately with the wrong approach, expectations, and that kind of leads to the ultimate frustration that people have and end up quitting. All right, so it's so important that the mindset is fixated on prioritizing education as the number one component, investing in your own education and knowledge, and gaining that foundation first with an understanding that ultimately the money will come as a byproduct. I cannot stress this enough, and I will continue to talk about this as much as I can to kind of drive that point home. But we have to have that mindset, and we have to have realistic expectations. All right. Number two, how would I approach trading? Number two, establish and understand your why. What is the underlying reason? Why are you actually getting into trading? Right? I know a lot of us, that kind of why is financial freedom, right? The time freedom component that something like trading can provide for us. Right, and we all kind of, not all, obviously a lot of people, can have different reasons, but I would say a majority kind of fall under that Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, desire and ideology that we don't want to work for 40 years of our life to live off of 40% of our income when we retire. Right, we want to be able to have that essentially passive cash flow and that income, right, that then provides us the time freedom to do what we truly enjoy. Right, so that for me was really my why when I got into trading, and it was actually, it was inspired by reading Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, actually my first year in university. Right, I read that book and it completely changed my mindset and perspective around so much in life that kind of shifts the way we think about the life that was prescribed to us. So that's my why, and your why might just simply be to establish a solid stream of income that you can take on top of maybe working a job that you truly enjoy. Right? There's multiple reasons why people can get into trading, but you need to actually make sure you understand exactly why it is you're getting into. If it's just to try to make $1 million overnight, right, then you should understand that you're probably not going to be successful. All right. Next, I want you to fully understand that the odds are against you succeeding. Okay? The odds are very much so against you. If you just think about it statistically, from a statistic standpoint, 95, 99% of people fail who try to do this. Okay? This is extremely difficult to accomplish, right? And we have to have that understanding and that expectation when coming into this, that this will not come easy. All right? And so with that understanding that the odds are against you, I want you to ask yourself, if your why is strong enough for you to endure what 99% of traders fail to overcome in trading. Right? Because the vast majority of people probably don't have a strong enough why, and so when they go through the gutter and the gauntlet that is learning how to trade, they quit. They fail, they quit. Because their expectations weren't correct, because they didn't have a strong enough why. All right, so that's why it's so important to understand, step back, to have that long-term, holistic approach and perspective, right? And understand that you have to be able to endure a bunch of crap in order to get to that goal and objective. All right? And so you need to make the commitment for the long term and really understand that things will get ugly before you achieve any type of success. All right? And is that something that you can handle, that you can stomach? All right? We have to understand that LeBron James did not become a professional basketball player without putting in the work. All right? He didn't just wake up one day eligible to play at the highest level in the NBA. All right? That's not how it worked. Right? He put in tons and tons of time and effort and energy and dedication to be able to achieve what he could achieve. All right? In order to become, if you just think about it, from NBA, National Basketball Association, MLB, NFL, these guys are the cream of the crop. They are the top of the top. They are professionals. Okay? And so you won't become a professional trader, just like they wouldn't become a professional sports player without you putting in the work. They wouldn't have done it without putting in they wouldn't have become professionals. The vast majority of people stop playing in high school, stop playing in college. They aren't able to get up to the major leagues. All right? So I love to use that analogy, right? Because it literally means becoming a professional, an expert, a master at this game. All right? But if you are willing to make this commitment, you need to set reasonable goals for the short term, medium term, and long term. All professionals do this really to create that expectation for themselves and kind of have that accountability factor as they move along their journey. All right, so I really want you to write out, after writing out, and it's great to always write things out in journal and kind of put it out there into the universe, what it is that is your why, what it is that might be holding you back, right? Or what adjustments might need to be made to that approach, to your mindset, to your expectations, to your why. Ask yourself if it's really worth it. But then also write out your goals, right? Where do you want to be in 6 months, 12 months, right? 2 years, 5 years. And put that out there as a constant reminder, right? And I want to stress the fact that you don't need to put too much pressure on yourself. You have to set reasonable goals and expectations, right? With everything that I've just talked about. Understanding that this is extremely difficult. Right? Understanding that you're going to fail for quite some time. So that first short-term goal, in my opinion, should not have anything to do with how much money you make. even the medium-term goal. If you write down, I want to make this much money by, 6 months from now, that's the wrong approach, right? What are you prioritizing as your short-term, medium-term goals in order to reach the long-term goal of making money, which we're all in it for? All right? So once you have your mindset and your expectations and your commitment in place, what do you do? Right? First and foremost, as a beginner, I would always recommend simply going over to babypips.com. Right? And this is a free website, and learn literally the basics, right? And I would stick to just the basics. I wouldn't go to their advanced section, but this is babypips.com. It's all, free information, and you can learn position sizing and, how to calculate pips, majors, minors, crosses, exotics, all of that basic background information about the markets, right? Great place to start. It's literally free. You can't go wrong. All right. And then once you feel like you kind of have a grasp of how things work in trading, the most important thing to do is to find a mentor. All right. Find a true mentor that you can trust and that you can actually build a personal relationship with. All right. So many successful people in this world credit their success to the mentorship that they received. Somebody coached them, but they also sought that person out actively. It's not going to fall into your lap. Right? It might come at a price. It does come at a price. Right? But again, it comes back to the mindset and the expectation. Understanding that it is an investment, right, in your own education and your knowledge that will ultimately produce a return. Right? I don't know about you, but I like investing in things that have infinite return. All right? So finding a mentor, whether that's me or somebody else, doesn't matter, okay? But somebody that you can actually trust, have conversations with, right? That doesn't just push courses and then leaves you high and dry, expects you to become successful overnight. Somebody that you can continue to work with and who can watch you along your journey and be able to share their own experiences on a personal level and their own failures and shortfalls, right? So that you can also learn from that, right? So much of this industry is very cookie cutter, and that's really not the best model in my opinion. We all have different circumstances. We all have different mindsets. We all have different personalities. We all learn at different paces. And so to provide cookie cutter approaches, it's not doing people any favor who truly want to learn how to trade, right? Your mentor needs to be able to understand your circumstances, right? And work together, right, to have that customized plan in place for success. All right. So finding a mentor is extremely critical, right? And building a relationship and not being afraid to ask questions because you think you would come across as dumb. All right. There is no such thing as a dumb question. As you're learning, we always want to be learning and asking questions, and making sure you're on the same page with your mentor. All right. And the final piece, right? Practice on a small live account, right? And this is obviously after you've, solidified your mindset and psychology coming into it, right? You have those expectations, you have those goals in place, right? You have gone to Baby Pips, you've learned the basics, you've found a mentor, you've learned their strategy, you've built a relationship, right? And you feel like you're ready to start gaining experience. I like to recommend, and there's nothing wrong with a demo account, but I personally like to recommend funding a very small live account, $500, $250, whatever that might be. right? Whatever you can throw in there. Candy money. All right? And practice in a live market environment with live money. Right? Because that is different, much different than practicing in a demo environment. All right? There is, as human beings, we are emotionally attached to our money. Right? And so even if it is a small account, it's still your money, and you probably don't want to, blow your own money. Right? And so it's just a slight difference, but significant difference in trading a demo account when you're getting your feet wet. Just trade a small live account. And you know what? If you do blow it, then so what, right? It's not the end of the world. Right? And you fund another one. And you continue to practice on very small amounts of money, and you don't have to overcome the emotions of blowing a large account, which is inevitable, right? Typically for beginners. All right, so very important to gain that experience on a live account. And honestly, you can't trade a big account if you can't trade a very small account, right? Making 1% on a $500 account is making 1% on a $500,000 account. Right? So you have to be able to put things into perspective. And what's the point of risking more of your hard-earned money on a live account when you can't trade a $500 account? All right? So simple things like that can really help with your psychology. As you fail, as you gain that experience, you don't have to have the burden of losing a lot of money. All right? And I'll kind of end it with this. All right? Nate and I, when we really reached our success, right? When we really had our breakthrough, right? Obviously, we discovered smart money concepts, right? Years ago, put that video out on YouTube, everyone was excited about. But what I credit it to, right, is putting in that extra work, right? Extra work. And at the time, Nate and I were students in college still, and, obviously in classes all day, and, doing analysis and studying the markets in every free moment that we had, going to the gym, doing all the extra stuff that, you like to do, or we have to do. But we would go to bed at midnight, go to sleep, and we would wake up at 3 a.m, right? For months and months and months, right? 3 hours of sleep, waking up so we can trade and watch live price action from London session through New York session, right? That right there, being able to watch live price action and how the concepts unfold in a live environment was so powerful and critical for our development and our experience. Because experience, ultimately, at the end of the day, is going to get you over the top, right? Yes, you absolutely have to have, mentorship, education, and all of that. But in order to actually get you to the finish line, you have to put in the work, right? You have to gain the experience yourself. You have to go through all of the garbage that's necessary in order to break through. All right? So that's what we did. Oftentimes even sleepless nights, simply watching live price action and things unfold in real time really expedited our learning process and got us to the finish line quicker. All right. And so you just have to be dedicated and willing to put in that extra work, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it. All right. Otherwise, you're never going to become a professional. You're never going to get to the MBA. Right. And it's harsh, but it's the simple truth. All right. And so, we don't sugarcoat anything here. We always like to be transparent and tell you exactly how it is. And so I hope you've taken a lot of value from this video. It's truly from the heart. It's truly from, a caring perspective, right? Because I have been in your shoes. right? I've been there. I've gone through it all, right? And believe me, it wasn't fun, right? But I wasn't part of that crowd who was going to quit. Simple as that. And that's why Nate and I have really restructured our mentorship and sat back. We did away with the signal service. Obviously, those of you who follow us, you know that. And we really stepped back to kind of craft a model that we truly thought we would have needed as beginners, as struggling traders, right? Who had that passion and that why, right? We saw the potential. We knew that we could get there ultimately. So that's what we've crafted our mentorship around, was offering that mentorship in a way of, that's what we needed, right? When we were struggling, that's what we would have wanted. That's what would have helped us get to our ultimate objective as quickly as possible. All right. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section. Please like and comment if you want us to do kind of more of these. It's really kind of a chill, relaxed, sit back and have a discussion. I love doing this. It's really off the cuff, right? I don't have a script or anything like that. Like I said, I just like to tell you how it is. All right. So we will talk to you again very soon, and I hope you have a great day.